All right, so this may be the first video you're watching. It may not be the first video you're watching. All right, but just in case it is, I'm gonna kind of give some extra tips along the way about the kind of main thing you wanna be doing when you're watching these videos, which is taking notes. All right, so you have two options for the taking notes. All right, the first option is you can download the slides. All right, those are gonna be on the Google Doc. Every single time I have a video, I have the slides up there too. So if you want, you can print off the slides and kind of use those as the structure for your notes. I'm not going to do those or print those off myself because it'd be way too much paper if every student wanted it. All right, but if you want to download the slides, you can kind of use that as a framework for your notes. And the other way is just to handwrite them yourselves. All right, the slides have some nice built-in features that can help you take notes. So the first thing is they're all going to have a title that matches the learning objective. As you can put that real big at the top of the page. This one's about adding fractions. And the next thing that they'll all have is every slide after that first one will have a title. All right, so this one is common denominator. As you can kind of put that next, almost in like an outline format, and put all the information about common denominator into that, the next slide, so on. All right, so here you might have common denominator. Underneath that, all right, you're just gonna put, well, maybe you don't even have to write this. I guess it's kind of just explaining something. All right, but finding a common denominator, all right, just means that the denominators of the fractions, that just means the bottom of the fraction, have to match up so that we can compare them. So if you just want to write the definition of a common denominator, it just means the bottoms of the fractions are the same. All right, so which of the following pairs have a common denominator? Again, a great thing with this being a video is you can kind of pause it right now, look through them and figure out which ones are. All right, but again, when we're looking at common denominators, we're looking for the bottoms to be the same. So 3 and 3 are the same, so these ones are good. These are a common denominator. At the second pair, the tops are the same, but that doesn't matter. We want to care about the bottoms. Those bottoms are different. So this is not a common denominator. And last one, 7 and 7, so they are. So as long as those bottoms are the same, right, just the bottoms, the denominators, then they're a common denominator. All right, how are we going to get a common denominator? All right, so one kind of rule to know is that we can multiply anything by 1 and it'll stay the same, right? 2 times 1 is just 2. 8 times 1 is just 8. Well, how's that going to help us with a common denominator? What we're going to do is use the fraction as just one number over itself. Well, a number over itself just cancels out and is equal to 1. So instead of multiplying by 1, we're actually going to multiply by a number over itself. They're the same thing, they're just written slightly differently. All right, so if we put those two facts together, we multiply things by a over a, then that can kind of help us change how a fraction looks without actually changing the value of it. All right, so that might all be a little confusing, so let's do an example. All right, we're gonna add these fractions. In order to add a fraction, we need a common denominator. 3 and 4 are different numbers, so we can't do this straight from the start. All right, so what we're gonna do is use that kind of a over a thing to help us get these to be common denominators. Well, this one's a 3, and we want it to also be common with 4. So what we're gonna do is take this left-hand fraction, and we're gonna multiply it by 4 over 4, right, because that's the number over here. This one's a 4, and we need to have a 3, so we're gonna take the right-hand fraction and multiply it by 3 over 3. All right, so it'll look something like this, and you're kind of writing it in a problem. All right, and then we multiply fractions by going straight across. So 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 5 times 3 is 15. 4 times 3 is 12. And because on the bottom we just have 4 times 3 multiple times, now we can see we have a common denominator. And once we get a common denominator, our answer, because they're all over 12, our answer is going to be over that common denominator. And now we just add the two tops. We have 4 of 12 something and 15 twelfths of something. 4 plus 15 is 19. All right, so this trick will always be able to get you to add fractions by just multiplying the other fraction by the denominator that you want. All right, so the right-hand one we're multiplying by 3s, the left-hand one we're multiplying by 4s. All right, just make sure you do it on the top and bottom so that's not changing the fractions. All right, the last thing we had to check is if we can simplify this, but 19 and 12 don't have any common factor, so we just leave it like that. All right, if this is your first video, this will be your first time seeing this, but this is gonna happen a lot in the videos you're watching. There's gonna be slides titled Your Turn. So the idea is the video is gonna pause for a second, and you have a chance to work on these problems by yourself. And this is a really good gauge of kind of seeing if you understand the problems as you're going through the video. So you can kind of get help earlier than kind of if you got to the practice and had no idea what's going on. And also gives you a chance to kind of work with the material, but have some support through the answer. All right, so the video is gonna pause, you'll work on it, and then when the video restarts, you'll see all the work that I did to get the right answer. And here's the work I did. So this fraction has a 5, so I'm gonna multiply the other fraction by 5 over 5. This fraction has a 2, so I'm gonna multiply the other fraction by 2 over 2, and that guarantees the bottoms are both 10. And that means the answer is also going to be over 10. And 4 plus 5 is 9, so that gives me that final answer, 9 over 10. And again, look to see if you can simplify. 9 and 10 don't share any factors, so that's our final answer. Right. This one we're going to subtract. Nothing really changes much with subtraction except for that final step. Instead of adding 2 numbers, we subtract 2 numbers. I have the same thing. We need to get a common denominator. And here's where we could do what we just did in the last problem. We could do 12 over 12. And 3 over 3. All right, we've done that twice already. And there's nothing wrong with doing this. You're just gonna have more simplifying work to do at the end. But sometimes you can try to find the smallest numbers that are gonna work. This will always work, what I just did, just using the other denominator in the other fractions. But one thing you can do is save yourself a little bit of time if you think about what do these denominators already have in common. So 3 is just a prime number. It's just 3. Let me write it in a different color. But 12, it's 2 numbers being multiplied together. 12 is 4 times 3. So this right-hand fraction already has a copy of a 3 in the bottom, which means if we can just get a 4 in the left-hand fraction, then we're good. So what I'll do is just multiply the left-hand one by 4 over 4 instead of 12 over 12. So now if I rewrite this, I'm going to get 8 over 12 minus 5 over 12. And you can see now they have a common denominator because I just kind of thought ahead of what's the smallest thing I could use to get these to be the same. But again, there's nothing wrong with doing this. All right, that would guarantee you get a common denominator that is just gonna be a 36 on the bottom. And that just means you have to do a little bit more simplifying at the end. So if you're fine with simplifying more, you can just always do this. But if you kind of think ahead a bit, you can just use 4s. And then we subtract 8 minus 5 is 3. And this is the first one we've had where this is not actually the final answer, because 3 and 12 are both divisible by 3. So my final answer is 1/4. Because those are going to cancel. All right, so this example is just kind of there to show you, you don't always have to use the entire denominator. All right, sometimes you can use pieces of the denominator, all right, but there's nothing wrong with using the entire denominator. All right, so same thing here. All right, subtract these 2 fractions. There's kind of 2 different ways you go about it. Do whichever one you're comfortable with. All right, combine the fractions into a single one. All right, so here's 2 different ways you could have done. You could have recognized that 4 is actually just 2 times 2. So it already has 1 copy of 2. The other one just needs the other copy of 2. So you can just multiply the right-hand one by 2 over 2. Subtract 1 minus 6 is -5. And that gives you this answer down here. All right, so you didn't recognize that, and you just use the entire denominator, then it would look something like the right over here. You use the 2 on the left, the 4 on the right, and you subtract those 2, you get -10 over 8. Those are both divisible by 2, so these 2's cancel, and again, you get the exact same answer. You just had to go a slightly different way to get there. All right, so both of these are perfectly valid. One is just slightly less steps if you can kind of figure out the smallest thing you can do. All right, and the last example we'll do in this video, all right, is that any whole number you can always make into a fraction. So there it looks like, oh, what is the common denominator? There's no denominator in the left-hand number, but I can always rewrite this as 3 over 1. And now I want to get the denominators to be the same. So I'm going to multiply the left one by 4 over 4, the right one by 1 over 1. That's not going to do anything. So we're going to get 12 over 4 plus 1 over 4, and our final answer is 13 over 4. Right, so just one extra step of remembering that a whole number, if you just see a whole number, it's that number divided by 1. All right, and again, if this is your first video you're watching, this is a new thing that you're seeing. All right, multiple choice questions. Every video, well, almost every video will end with a multiple choice question where you're gonna solve it yourself and then put the answer in. And this is here just so I can really quickly scroll through the class and kind of see how many people on average are getting the questions right and how many are getting them wrong, and I can kind of know whether there's something that the class is struggling with before maybe everyone's asking questions about it. All right, so video is always going to end multiple choice question. Try to add these together, find the correct answer, and just mark it down. One thing to be careful with is I can't get it to not shuffle the answers because it's supposed to not be like A, B, C, D. All right, so if you think the answer is C, for instance, all right, so make sure you actually click on the answer C. It's not always going to be the third answer. All right, so make sure you actually click on C if you think that's the answer. All right, after you're done watching this video, go grab the practice problems for this learning objective. All right, work through the practice until you're comfortable with it, and then you're going to do the skill check for this learning objective.